All right, guys, what is going on? Paul James here. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. Today, we are going to talk about how to make money off of your competition. And there's some really unique strategies that you can actually utilize when you know what to look for, when you know how, to reverse engineer your competitors. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, please do me a favor, drop below and subscribe. Take that bell notification icon, and I will definitely update you every time I post a new video, because we talk a lot about making money on this channel. We talk a lot about strategy and real tips that actually work. So here's what I want to talk about first when it comes to making money off of your competition. A lot of people, when they're entering a certain business model or a certain business opportunity, they think about, do I want to go after an industry where there's competition? And the answer is yes and no. Specifically in SEO, and when it comes to local SEO or local marketing, it's yes and no. So here's what I mean by that. You don't want to pick a niche or a market that no one's ever thought of before. A lot of people think like, I need to be the first to ever think of this thing, and if I don't find that, then it's not going to be something I want to move forward with. Well, the truth is that if no one's ever thought of it, no one's ever done it before, that's a lot more risky, because it puts yourself in a position where it might just not be profitable. There might be a reason why no one's ever thought of it before, because maybe it just isn't something that would make money. So the strategy I want to show you today is a way where we find something that works, but we still separate ourselves from the competition quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull open my computer screen here. We'll switch camera angles here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what I do. So I use a strategy where we establish ourselves as a big fish in a little pond, okay? And what that expression means is we want to enter a niche where it's a good niche, but we want to become the giant in that niche, right? I forget my camera's over here because I switched my camera angles up. So sorry about that. But we want to become the giant in the industry. And the way we do that is by targeting maybe an area that isn't so big. So when it comes to local marketing, and I'm going to share with you guys how this all works. You guys saw my site yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you guys did. Let me pull it up here just to show you an example. So this site yesterday I showed you, it's a roofing site, right? Every time someone would call this site, for example, or our other roofing sites, this one is just an example site. It is ranking, it is getting results, but we're not selling the leads actively. But if we were to sell them actively, they would be worth $50 for every single lead that came in on it. So when we're talking about picking a niche in an industry, this is kind of what I mean. Now, here's what I mean by that. What you want to do is you want to reverse engineer the other lead generation companies that are out there, if you're looking to generate leads anyways. So some companies you might want to look into: HomeAdvisor, Thumbtack, Angie's List. What you can do is you can come under their sites and you can look under categories, and what you'll actually begin to discover is they've kind of got it all figured out already, right? Now this is a company that's doing like 500 million annually in revenue, okay? So they've got it figured out, and you can see they've got things like, additions, basement remodels, general contractors, bathroom remodeling, flooring, carpet, hardwood. So we could go through here and we could get tons and tons and tons of ideas. But you may be thinking, well, how am I going to set myself up into a frame or a position where I can frame myself as being that, giant in the industry if I'm going after the same niche as they are? And that's a good question. And the way you do that is, again, you become the big fish in a small pond. So let's say, for example, that you wanted to target somewhere in Wisconsin that was near the Milwaukee area, because that's the big city here, right? If you want to generate a ton of leads, that's probably your first gut instinct, is you're thinking like, I need to target this kind of city here that's prominent. Now, here's what is going to happen. That those big lead generation companies like HomeAdvisor here, I can almost guarantee you they're going to come after Milwaukee, because again, they're kind of like the big competitor in our industry, especially when it comes to lead generation anyways. So I can almost guarantee you that's what they're going to target. But what we want to do is we want to pick one of the same niches that they're in, because we know that those niches are proven to make money. They're making 500 million annually a year. last I checked anyways. And even if they make less or more than that, whatever, it's a lot of money, right? We want to pick one of those niches, but in a smaller city. So if we hop on Google Maps here and we start to look outside of the area, we might be able to pick little sub niches outside for markets. Like here's Brown Deer, or here's Mequon, right? Pewaukee might be one, Sussex, Hubertus. Okay, so these are around, they're around, 20 miles around the city, but they're not the main city. So what that allows us to do is we grab one of these niches. Okay, so like, let's just say, I don't know, let's just pick one of them. Anyone got anything that sticks out at them that they'd like to pick as an example? Let's do drywall or something like that. So what we'd pick is like drywall Brown Deer or something. So let's try that. Drywall Brown Deer. Okay, and we're going to be presented with a list of basically our competitors. Okay, so here's what we want to do. And this is how I really go in and I establish ourselves as reverse engineering, making sure it's a niche I want to enter. It's basically what I mean. So the way we do that is we come and we click on one of our competitors. So let's just let's click this first choice for drywall and see what this is. This could be a directory site. Oh no, it's not. Okay, first choice for drywall, and they look like they're located kind of far away, but they have a separate page on their website actually targeting Brown Deer. So that's kind of interesting. So let's go and grab their URL. And what we're gonna do is we're going to pull open a Google window here. So let me pull a Google window open. Okay, and this is what we want to do. We want to type in their URL in quotation marks, but we don't want to have any of the HTTPS or the www. We want it to just look like that. So just domain.com. Okay, and then we're going to do minus in URL, and we're going to do the same thing. And what this search string is telling Google is it's telling them that we want to show all sites that are linking to firstchoiceForDrywall.com, but don't show us any links that are on their own website, like if they created multiple pages and linked back to them. Okay, and this is what we're looking for here. Where it says number of results, 453 results, this is essentially the amount of work that we're going to have to do to compete with them. We're going to need to go out there and create all these different profiles, like a LinkedIn profile, and all this other stuff that they went after. Now, you want to go through, because they may not really have 453 results, go through a couple of pages, and this one does have a lot of results. So they probably really do have that many, but sometimes it'll be duplicate and might not be quite that many. But this is a sign of something that looks pretty competitive. But again, it kind of looks like this might be a directory site. And directory sites I don't take too seriously. So let's go back and see if there's anyone else here that we can kind of look at. It looks like it's mostly just directory sites. I was hoping I could find someone that was like an actual business. Let's see if this one is an actual business. Yeah, this one looks like an actual business. So let's do their site. Let's do the same thing for their site, since they're an actual business, not a directory site. Directory sites, this gets kind of skewed for, because obviously they're just creating a bunch of random pages everywhere. And we can compete with directory sites with this strategy because they just don't have as much power. Okay, so same thing, right? We did midinternational.com. We took out the www. We took out the HTTP. And by the way, if you guys are liking this information so far, make sure you've liked the video if you haven't already. It just really helps out. And if you're not subscribed and you want to learn more, definitely subscribe. But let's go ahead and let's hit search on this one. And you might get different results like this from Google, that they want you to solve CAPTCHAs and stuff because they think it looks kind of fishy, but no big deal. Just go ahead and solve them. I'm not seeing any chimneys here, so it's kind of weird. Okay, there we go. Okay, this one also 530 results. So this, to me, it might be kind of competitive. I don't know. Again, this one still looks a little bit sketchy. Let's do another example. I saw someone put in their pest control. Okay, and someone says, are you going to leave this video as a live video on your channel? I probably will, yeah. So let's do pest control. And let's pick another suburb. Let's do Hubertus or Richfield or something like that. So we're going to go back to Google, and let's just click back. And let's do pest control Hubertus. And let's see if we can find something there. Okay, so again, we have all of these different results. Is this Harold Stark? Let's try and check out some of the different results here. This is another one of those kind of like national companies. And I think you're going to find a lot of that in these different niches. Let's check out American Animal Control and see what these guys are. They don't actually have a website. What about the Bee Guy? Oh yeah, they do have a website actually. I was trying to see if they have multiple locations too. If you guys recognize any of these, let me know. Can I explain the Google search trick again? Yes, I will. Absolutely. Evans Pest Control. I think this one looks like it might be going to a Facebook page. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so this looks like maybe an actual company. So let's reverse engineer them and see what they're pulling up. So this is kind of what my strategy is and kind of the process I go through. And once I find one that looks good, I'll point it out to you guys so that you know what it is. Because so far I'm not finding anything that's like really sticking out at me as awesome. So this one's a lot lower, right? 267 results. And you want to get this down as low as possible. So a lot of duplicate results here, like this Plymouth Review. So obviously we're not going to count that as multiple ones. Just going to keep going and looking through. So it looks like the rest of these are like weird websites that are like, they're just scraping everything off of every URL possible. But if you look at the actual like amount of good backlinks they have, I'm seeing like 1, 2, 3. And if we go back to page 2, they've got 10 here. So we'll say like 13. And then they've got 10 here. So we'll say 23. They've got like 23 solid backlinks. And some of them are duplicates. Like there's 2 yellow page listings here. So, you know, we'd say 21. There's 2 of these are the same. So we'd say 19. So you can see we're kind of dwindling them down. Basically, that tells me if I want to compete in this industry in the city of Hubertus, I have to be willing to at least go and get my site listed on at least 19 of these websites, which would be pretty easy to do. I mean, you can see one of them is a Facebook page. I mean, anyone can go out there today, they can create a Facebook page, right? That's not going to be hard to do. So that's kind of like the strategy here. I'm going to switch over to my other thing here. That's the strategy behind reverse engineering the competition. Do you guys so far have any questions with that? Or would you like me to go through more examples? If you have any like niche recommendations that you want me to look into, I'm more than happy to do that. But yeah, that's kind of like the basic strategy. And again, we're targeting a city, but we're looking outside of that main city into some of the smaller suburbs. But we're using the niches and the industries that are on these high competitive sites that are targeted lead generation, like Home Advisor, Thumbtack, things like that. How do you find people who want to buy the leads? Okay, good question. Let's switch back to the computer for that one. Okay, screen share. There we go. Okay, so the way we find people that want to buy these leads is I showed you my roofing website. What we do is we place what's called a call tracking phone number on the website. That's this right here. And also notice the website that we create is generic. Like this is just the name of the city and called Roofing Pros. We put the number at the top of the website so it's prominent. It shows up, it looks good on mobile if I shrink this. Like it's still the first thing they see. When someone calls it, it's a tracking phone number. Okay, so what that means is that I don't have to answer this line, but when someone calls it, it automatically forwards over to the person I'm selling the leads to. Now, if you don't have a person that you're selling the leads to, all you need to do is go and find a random pest control company in Google that you think you want to work with. So I would just go back. I would maybe look at the reviews and say, okay, this guy's got a 5-star rating. Maybe I want to work with him. I would grab his phone number out of here, and then I would forward my phone number to his. And then when he gets the call, I program in what's called a whisper feature. Now, a whisper feature is kind of just what it sounds like. it's going to, when he picks up the phone and says, hello, it's going to say, hey, this lead was provided to you by Paul. So when he picks up the phone, he's going to think, who is Paul? And then he gets transferred to the customer, who's going to then turn into hopefully someone that wants to use his services. And then what I do from that point is I follow back up with him and I say, hey, because I can see once he picked up one of these calls, are you interested in buying all of my leads? I sent you just one to try it out. You saw it was good. You saw it was legit. I've got more for you and I want to send them to you. This is how much it is. And then every time I send him a phone call for maybe like roofing, for example, it's $50 per call. So the volume that comes in this particular site, if we were to have sold this site, again, I didn't just because this was a case study I did for YouTube and because I had to put the name out there and stuff like that, I have to be careful with obviously, sending these leads to someone because there could be customers calling that watch the YouTube channel and things like that. But the volume that's coming through so far of legitimate leads, people who are saying, hey, we're looking for a roofer. Hey, our roof is leaking. Or hey, we want a quote for an install. It's totals we'd be making about $700 per month on this particular website, just to kind of give you an idea. And those of you guys know I developed Dialhawk, which is a call tracking software. And you can learn about that in the first link of the description of this video. It says my favorite money-making strategy, and then there's a link. That will kind of show you a video on how call tracking works and how to set it up and all of that stuff. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but that's kind of the basic overview of it. What's a good amount of results to look for within the URL to not go past? Brian asks. That's a great question, Brian. Now, honestly, I mean, it's really preference is what that comes down to. What are you willing to accept as something that's tolerable for you, right? For me, I might be willing to go after something that's maybe like 20 to 30-ish results. And you looked at that one I showed you, it said it was like 200, but when we actually got down to counting what were like the real legitimate sites, like the Facebook, the Yelp listing, I'm not talking about all those other spam directory sites, but like the actual websites that are legitimate websites, we looked at, I think it was like 21, or I think we dwindled it down to 19 after removing the duplicates. Excellent, that's perfect. So I would say anything around there is fine. And even less than that, sometimes we find niches and industries where it gets down to like 2 or 3. Like it's really crazy. Like sometimes they'll only have a Facebook page. If you can find that, that's like really awesome. So that's a good question as well. Does the site make $700 every month? If I were to have sold the leads, it would make $700 every month. But this is actually a website that I built out here on the YouTube channel, right? So I did this in front of everyone. And because of that, that kind of puts my site at a lot of risk. It puts me at, puts me at risk for someone coming and trying to do negative SEO on the site and stuff like that. So rather than like put that at risk, I didn't actually sell the site, but I did want to build it and like show you guys the process of ranking it and doing keyword research and show you what an actual real site looks like. But yes, the amount of calls that are coming into it, if I were to forward them over to a company, would be worth a call volume of $700, which is pretty insane. But it's pretty typical as well for a roofing site in a good niche like I'm showing you, like in a good area. And everyone's going to be different, right? That's totally like a lot of objectives, a lot of variables here. You have to pick the right city. You have to pick the right niche. And I've kind of explained to you guys how to do that and how to use your competition to actually make money off of them. Okay, more questions here. I'm glad you guys are asking lots of questions too, by the way. And again, smash a like on the video if this is helpful. I use a Whisper, and when sent to prospect, it says this is a free lead from your website. Then when I set up the get leads site, they will go from there and sign up. Yes, that's a great, okay, so that's a great idea. We've done that before as well. So what Internet Concepts is talking about in his question is instead of saying this lead was provided to you by Paul when they call the phone number, he actually puts his website URL in there. Like he'll say like this lead was provided to you by pauljames.com. So then when the customer picks up the phone and they hear that, they're thinking, okay, let me go look up pauljames.com. And then they see basically a sales pitch on the website that explains how they can continue to buy the leads. So yeah, that's a great strategy too. It's an even better strategy if you don't want to have to talk to anyone. I like that. So whose number is that on the site? This is my phone number right now. It's my tracking phone number. Again, I mentioned, let me pull open the YouTube thing so you can see it. Right here, this link in the video description that you're watching right now, okay? Click this link, and this shares with you about how to set up call tracking in that whole process. It's pretty straightforward, but it explains how call tracking works, how much the phone numbers are to buy them, how you set up forwarding, how the whispered feature works. It's just kind of a lot to cover in this video here. So I don't want to like go into a whole different topic, but maybe we'll do another topic on another video. Yo, what's up, Chase? Chase says he can vouch for me 100%. Thank you, Chase. I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you as well. Chase has got an awesome SEO channel. What's a good amount of articles to have on the site to get it properly ranked? So if you're going to go after like what I'm sharing with you and you're looking at, niches that don't have a lot of backlinks, it's not going to take much. So for this site, we did 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, of course, we got the homepage 5, 6, 7, 8. I think even these ones have articles on them too. Yeah, they do. So like 10. So I think this one has about 10 articles on it. And with 10 articles, I mean, we're ranking for, all of the main keywords like roofing Cedarburg. I think we're ranked number 1 for here. Probably ranked for roofer Cedarburg. Oh yeah, there we are. We're even above the map pack on that one. Probably ranked for residential roofing. And this is all just content, and because of the way we structured the website and because we chose a very, very low competition niche. So yeah, the other cool part about the call tracking that I use is it automatically collects the money from your client. So what happens is when someone calls this phone number, it's going to say, you can set, hey, I want to charge them $50 per call. You can set that so it gets billed $50 and say they get 10 calls every single month or every week or however you want to do it. It'll say, okay, they got 10 calls times $50 is $500, and boom, it'll go out and invoice your client for that all automatically without you ever having to touch it. And that's kind of what makes these sites so passive and so, awesome to work on. Let's see what else here. I'm just looking at more questions. Have I ever done pay-per-call ads on Google? I have done pay-per-call ads. If you want to pay to play, I mean, ads are great, but I kind of like the strategy of actually like setting up an asset in Google. It's kind of digital real estate. It just sits there and makes money on autopilot. So yeah, that is the basic overview though. And that's kind of what I want to share with you guys today. I hope that this has helped you. I hope that this kind of gives you some insight on how you can make money off of your competitors. If you're not following me on Instagram yet, you should definitely go check out my Instagram. It's at HelloPaulJames, because I post daily content there as well. And it's slightly different content than what I'm posting here. So that's always really cool. And if you haven't already, please tap a like on this video if it was helpful to you. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you want to see me talk about in the future. And if you're not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe, take the bell notification icon, because I will be sure to update you the next time I post a new video. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you being here today. I will see you in another video. I am Paul James. Peace out.